Hello and welcome to a Smite rant slash whatever this is going to be for update 9.11 or 9.11 for RuneScape. And before we get into this, my general opinion on Smite at the moment is they're Hi-Rez are an awful game company who had a great game many years ago. And in the past 2 to 3 years, the game has, I'd probably say closer to 2 years. 2 years, the game has fallen off, and it is just a disappointment, a hollow shell of what it used to be. And this video is right off the back of another video where I got quite passionate and angry and laughed quite a bit. But this one is, I occasionally look up to the patch notes, because sometimes I like to see what's going on. But this one got me so confused and angry, I have to make a video about it. So I thought to myself, I have to. And as a fan of Smite, what they do is they collab with different companies. RuneScape, I've actually never played it or heard of it, so I can't really comment. But for you, what is this? What is this? We're going to get into it. But this update alone, and I can honestly say, and I will say it now, Hi-Rez Development are a stupid company. Truth be told, like most of you lot out there, you're fun, the little toxic, the righteous, the correct players always say, it's a free-to-play game, you can play something else. You don't seem to grasp that, yes, it is a free-to-play game, but you can spend money on it on your own option. 2 years ago, I spent a lot of money on this game because this game was fantastic. I spent money on skins, on gems, on the God Pass, on all the exclusive content because it was a fantastic game and I loved it. But then, it slowly started to get bad. Now, what I could do, I could go, well, I've sunk all this money into it. It still gets updates. I could just say, screw it, go find something else. The problem we're living in this era, or this years, and there's not a lot to go out there and play other games similar to this that are any fun, unless you're stuck playing Overwatch. However, your massive problem, or my favourite problem, is they go, well, you still could just go play something else. It's like, yeah, you don't have to play the free game. Remember, it's a free game. And I go, yes, it is a free game. But I still hope, and I hope every year, that Smite gets better. It goes back to what it was. Unfortunately, the company at the helm of this game are stupid morons who don't know what they're doing. And that is not because of certain things. New gods coming out, fine. New items, fine. New content, fine. New skins, fine. It is the balancing and the nerfs of items, gods, characters, and all that ruin this game. Plus, releasing way too many gods equals you can't keep up with what you're doing. But this update alone completely broke me. So we're going to go into it. And I will do my add-all bit. I did see a few of the names, and as soon as I got down to a couple of them, I stopped. But let's get straight into this update. And I'm sorry, straight away, that is the most disgusting looking thing I have ever seen in Smite. It is so crap. At least Stranger Things was a high resolution. At least the Ninja Turtles had their retroness. At least the Nickelodeon characters remotely look fine. I pray they don't look like that in the game. I pray this is not what they look like, because that is just horrible to look at. Look at that face. I know it's a different game, but maybe you could have taken that different game and gave it a new vamp. Hopefully that's what they did, but disgusting looking. It looks like a character from a flippin' 2D block game. What was that game I played recently? I mean, Dismantle looked better than this. And if you don't know, Dismantle's a great game, go play it. That's not a shout out to this game. The Cerberus one doesn't actually look that bad, I will say. But, I mean, just look at him. I mean, I understand it's a different game, but you didn't have the problem with all the other cartoons. But you're collabing with a game. Why are you collabing with another game? Just do your usual Smite malarkey, because they just look tacky and crap. And the fact these are going to cost an extremely large amount of gems makes me quite disappointed, because it looks so... I'm sorry, I can't, before I even get into this, it just looks so crap. It just looks so awful. The fact that that's supposed to be Vamana. You know, the Hindu god Vamana? That's Vamana. Oh my lord. Oh. It looks like a character from Morrowind, to be honest. Bethesda, get ready to sue. Oh, I gotta assume to being angry, because, oh my lord. I'm not even looking at the screen anymore. I gotta scroll down. It's so awful. Oh, crap. Anyway, right. Lancelot gets a dragon skin. Not bad, to be honest. Gilgamesh gets a skin. That's fine. Yamoja, that doesn't really look like Yamoja, but fair enough. Yuhang gets a... Ooh, shiny... Oh, that's your new, supposedly, that's your new, like, good person pass. You know, if you have enough goodwill, guide, teamwork, friendly, you're supposed to get a Cryptus one. I'm kind of hoping that actually works, because as much as the crap I talk about Smite, I'm actually quite a decent player in terms of I don't rage quit, I don't harass the team unless you deserve it, but other than that. And most of the time, I'm actually not entirely toxic. Aside from the occasional Yamiya bot. Right, I gotta get back to being a little bit more... Alright. Awesome, right, so this is your battle pass. To be honest, the skins aren't too bad. I won't say. But the Ares one looks a bit weird. And it's also another comment that, why so many gods getting so many skins? Ares has a lot of skins. One for Cleodana does look pretty damn decent. Hera gets another one. I don't know why she needs any more. But she was a newer god. I'm surprised she got so many. That Samedi skin is nice, but still... I love the chibi. I love the chibi as a goose, and I'm very tempted to buy that. The Odyssey event. I'm kind of hoping that's actually one you can buy in the Odyssey thing, because I would really like to own that skin. The problem is I don't play Hunters, so... saying that, the last Odyssey event, I bought the Frog Danzabura, and I never played Danzabura, so... So I will start before we go into this any further. I can say that about Smite. The only good thing Hi-Rez do, aside from your free content, okay, is the skins are pretty decent. I won't lie here. If I had to go through decent doesn't really look like it. Might look different in press. That's generic. Meh. Decent. They all look decent. I suppose Hi-Rez can actually do... They can do somewhat decent skins. Alright. Oh, wait, what? Wait, that's the Odyssey event. What? Oh, okay, these are coming out after. Pele skin, it's another seaside one that's pretty boring. That's a pretty damn cool Nike skin. Oh, okay, they're actually pretty decent skins. I don't know what this one is. Bit Fortune. Oh, it's just in a chest. That's a pretty nice skin. That Nike skin is very nice. I actually might try and get that. I do play Warriors quite a bit. So, yeah, okay, we'll go straight into this. RuneScape event. We'll look into that later. I have no idea what these capes are. So I'm assuming you can find them, buy them, or something. I read into that a bit, but I didn't really care. So this is our thing. Cyber Tokyo Battle Pass. Yet again, Battle Passes in Smite are pretty decent. Some games you get your money back or that you spend, but Smite you don't. Which is fine, because you get a bunch of cosmetics. And the one... I tell you what, this thing should be a little bit more of what Smite do good. You can't get duplicates of awards that you get, which is fine. However, please, for the love of God, Hi-Rez, implement something that I can spend favour on. I've got tons of it and I can't buy anything. So there. Fine. Smite Night. They're bringing back the map Domination now. To be honest, I was quite surprised to see this. Domination was quite a fun game type. I did really like it. My biggest problem is they still haven't got through their heads Corrupted Arena is not very fun. And that is one of the few reasons why I cannot stand Hi-Rez, is because Corrupted Arena is not a good map. But going on to it, Domination was an old one, and it was very fun. You had your 3 lanes, and you all had to push on the lanes, and it was basically Domination. The problem is there were certain gods who could just completely decimate, and seeing as how it's been gone a long time and all the gods have come out, it's going to be quite interesting to see. Siege, I was very sad, I missed the last Siege one. They come back again, so that's nice. All Out Slash was actually surprisingly fun when we played on a game with 5 Danzebras versus 5 Hi-Rez, which was pretty fun to play, but also you could tell who won. So that's just Smite Night. Quality of life, they've added in a bunch more avatars, UI bug fixes, that's all fine. Good. In game modes, they've added in all this lovely stuff. Good. And that's your map of domination. So you spawn down here, you all go off, and you defend. You don't defend. You capture this. If you have all 3, that's fine. You have a mana camp, and I don't remember what these 2 things are. I thought there was something in those 2 things, but evidently not. That's weird. Never mind. Unless these 2 spawn either side, that's fine. Okay. Now. Oh, what? Oh, they're just a brief update, patch notes. So, right, we have, as per expected, now we come down to the angrier sort of time. The nerfs and buffs on items and gods, they don't make sense half the time, and it's one of the few reasons why Hi-Rez is really, 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 really bad. So the starter item system, I was still in one of the group that, why did they remove it? Now, boots, I understand why you had to remove boots, and they know that they were going to do more inspiration, but not inspiration. They wanted to keep it more like cool and everything, rather than you involving your starter item. But it was never going to be perfect because there are so many they released that they would have to keep constantly changing it. To be honest, I can't remember what it's called, but this item, which is basically you stay alive, is still overpowered. And they still haven't changed it. But no. So as expected, they are nerfing and buffing starter items constantly because they can never find the correct level. Which is always a problem. I mean, look at that. They have to increase these things because they're still not strong. Alright. Fine. Let's go into this. Kronos' pendant is getting a buff, so it's being decreased in cost. I can understand that. Kronos' pendant is a very powerful item, but it's only for cooldown, really, and a big chunk of damage. Right, let's get into this. Agni is getting a buff. This is the problem with Hi-Rez. Gods who and I can say, because I play most of these games, and you see the gods who are on the top tier level. I mean, Agni's not, truth be told. But he's still a very powerful god. Why is he getting a buff? Agni is still one of the very, very powerful mages. And you see him play in lower level lobbies because he is still very high. Of course, ranked lobbies or pro league lobbies I don't see. So Agni is still a dangerous threat. Just because he's not a dangerous threat in Conquest doesn't mean he's not a dangerous threat in other areas. Quite honestly, you do see an Agni getting up there top damage with Hera, with Vulcan, other big hitter mages. That was surprising. Anubis is getting a buff. You know, the god who's completely broken because the lifesteal system is broken? Yeah, he's getting a buff, which doesn't really make sense. And while we're on that topic, systems that are actually broken, and I'm happy to talk about these again because they are broken. The lifesteal system and the heal system are still broken, even after they fixed them all those years ago, but they didn't fix them, they reverted it back to how it was. They're still broken. The crit system is still broken. The anti-crit system is still broken. One's broken because it's too overpowered. The crit system is too overpowered. The other's broken because it's too weak. The anti-crit system is extremely weak. And how is that? Well, one piece of armor versus about however many other crit items, plus that doesn't protect you from Uleron's crits, which is a problem. You can see the problem there. It's the same with how is the lifesteal and the heal system broken compared to the anti-heal. Anti-heal system, you do have 4 items that potentially can anti-heal. Brawler's Beatstick, Divine Ruin, Contagion and Pestilence. They all are counter to Lifesteal and Heal. The problem is they don't actually do that much. 40% and 25% compared to a god that his entire ability is just to take Lifesteal and just completely heal himself back to full. So I won't comment too much on that. I've done it before in a separate video, but so two systems instantly broken. The reason why the crit system is still overpowered as sin. All these items provide crits, and only one piece of armor blocks it. And I still find this funny when that one person commented on one of my other videos. Yes, it is still broken. You notice how the anti-heal system had all of those 4 items. To counter crits, you have 1 item. And it's not actually very good. And you still have to build protection. You don't get Divine Ruin or Brawler's Beatstick. You don't get extra damage. You have to build protection with it. And as you know with crits times attack speed equals you're gonna die. So we have lifesteal system, crit system, CC system, crowd control system is still very broke. How many gods can provide crowd control based abilities? And also, CC abilities, and also with good old-fashioned beads being nerfed, which didn't make sense. Beads needed a buff, but makes life even harder. Gods with instant kill abilities, still broken. Gods, did I say? Attack speed, yeah, attack speed was part of crits. And there's one more that I've forgotten. Certain gods having certain abilities that they shouldn't have, but that's not a system, really. That's more gods being broken. And I'm really annoyed now because I've forgotten what the last one was. Oh, invincibility gods. Gods who can become invincible and invisible and minions. So 3 separate ones. Gods who can become invincible are broke beyond belief. Gods who can become invisible don't really make sense. Gods who can revive themselves, reverse time, regain all their health instantly. None of them really make sense, and a lot of them are still top tier gods because you can't counter it. Such as how Cryptus, one of the last hunters to be released, completely negated every CC ability in one ability. Screw beads, she could completely negate everything. So there are your broken systems, and because of this, if you have a broken system and there's a god that relies on that system, then it's a problem. Anubis relies on the lifesteal system, so yeah, he's kind of broken. Discordia, one of the strongest, if not one of the most overpowered gods in the game, is getting a buff. A damage increase by 10%. It's only 10 points, it's not the end of the world. She needs a fucking nerf. She is broke. Do you not play your fucking game, Smite? You don't understand. Her fucking passive, whoever's top damage, gets more damage. How the fuck does she need a buff? Hera gets a buff. How does that make sense? There is no logical thinking how that makes sense. Hi-Rez, this must be a joke or you're just plain stupid. Hera, Vulcan, Zeus, always top damage gods. You know this goddess? She has an amazing ability. She can summon a shield around herself, which increases her movement speed and increases her mech's movement speed. She can summon a mech from Titanfall that will beat the living shit into you. Yeah, so what we're going to do? We're going to increase her HP in the shield and we're going to increase her damage or her range. It doesn't make sense. Noir shouldn't be in the fucking game because she's broke. You can see how quickly this changed. These are top tier gods, and this update was purposely designed to completely annoy people or people like me. To take a kick to the audience, because these are broken characters, gods who needed nerfs, yet you buff them because you're stupid and completely devoid of any smarts. The fact that you even decided to buff these gods is bewildering to me. Noir shouldn't be in the game. You know why? Well, because she can hit every single god with one ability. Not broke, of course not. Zella! Hey, how you doing here, Zella? Look, you get a buff as well. Hey, look, Zeus gets a buff. Yeah. See that? See how I happen to say that? Why are all the fucking broken mages getting a fucking buff? And truth be told, you could give the argument, well, because they changed how the system works, and the system is implemented, so they've now changed how the mage system works. They've now changed how the item system works. Yes, that's very true, but could you at least test the fucking thing before you do it? We have had this happen twice before, and it didn't work. When you changed the heal system, and then it inadvertently nerfed the heal gods, buffed the heal gods, did it work? No! The heal system was still broken. You remember how you nerfed anti-heal because you thought you fixed heal? No, heal was even more stronger, and you nerfed the one thing that could counter it. It didn't work. Then come down to your crit system. You changed how crits worked. You changed the crits armor and whatnot. Did it work? No! You had to, twice, and it is documented. Twice, they reverted. They went from anti-heal, anti-crit. They dropped down the ratio of it going, this will keep it safe. It didn't, so they had to put it back up. The problem with crit is, they put it back up only by 10%. Anti-heal went back to being what it was supposed to be, but crit didn't. So crit system is still broken. Because you have no counter to it. Now, truth be told, if they have changed with the mage system, it doesn't matter. Let the game play before you upgrade all you mages. But the fact that you haven't brought in... we'll get down the list and see what we say. Zeus gets a buff. You know, Zeus, the one guy who can instantly one-tap you, he gets a buff. Morrigan, yeah, she gets a buff. That doesn't actually make any sense at all. Morrigan, probably one of the strongest gods in the game because of her abilities of what she can do. Some items, I suppose. That one makes... Wait, what? Obsidian Shard gets a nerf. No one ever buys that thing. Alright. Nor that thing. No one ever buys these two. What the hell? That's fine. That kind of makes sense. Crusher is a little bit overpowered at the moment. Muzen Cup gets a nerf. Now that one does make sense. All hunters at the moment, because of the crit system and because of the attack speed system, are pretty broken. Muzen Cup being one of the ones up there who's very, very damaging because of the amount of damage he can do. His swarm, his poison, all of that stuff, he does a lot of damage over time. So he can be quite problematic. That one makes sense. That nerf makes sense. All of the buffs made no sense. I never buy that item. That seems ridiculous, because that item's very strong already. Alright. That... Well, see, they reverted it back to what... Wait, did they? No, it didn't. I don't remember. Increased magical... Yeah, that's pretty nice, because Runic Shield isn't actually that well bought. See, the items kind of make sense sometimes. They revert back to that what it used to be. That makes sense. I never buy those two. A Hades nerf. Oh, would you look at that? Another one that makes sense. Hades is another god that exploits the lifesteal system. Decrease detonate damage by 2. By 2. In the long run. So when you get to the highest level, by 2. Okay. We'll take it. Fine. Hades is still very strong. He's not one for kills, but he's one to help out the entire team. Gilgamesh, you know, the second one of the top 5 most broken warriors in the game, he's getting a buff. Let's just do it because, you know, why not? Fuck it. Horus, Mulan, Gilgamesh, other warriors that I can't think of at the moment. Who else is broke? Varmina, Maybe King Arthur. I haven't played him in a while, but we'll see. Gilgamesh, you know him, the extremely broken warrior who was broke when he first came out, and he's still been broken ever since then. Yeah, he's getting a buff. Nobody plays him anymore. Why? And I find this one funny when they go, why are people playing certain gods anymore? Well, maybe because they played the living shit out of them, and you keep bringing new gods every other week. Might be a reason. So yeah, Gilgamesh doesn't make a lick of sense why he's getting a buff, and I can talk about this one quite in detail, because as the gods I play, the 3 gods in my bracket that I never play Hunter. Assassin, a little bit. Mage is the middle point. My Warriors and my Guardians are my 2 top most played gods, and I can tell you who's a broken Guardian and who's not, and Warriors I can roughly tell you, there are only like 3 or 4 Warriors I don't like playing, but Gilgamesh was broke beyond belief, and a buff, you know what, screw it, give him a buff. Wukong getting a buff doesn't really make much sense. Wukong is a very, very strong god. He's not picked as much, which I can understand, but at the same time, still doesn't really help. So, here we go, support buffs. See the section for details. Oh, is that what you've been doing, eh? Ah, so yes, you did. You've changed. Now, you see, so this is what they've done. I see now. I finally do get to see. So they've changed certain items depending on to see how they help. But you do know that not all gods can buy the same item, right? Do Hi-Rez know that? I'm just saying because a Muzen might not even actually buy those 2 items. You know? A Muzen just could just go, you know what? I don't want those. I want 3 bows and 3 crit items. So, your nerfs and buffs came out because you changed. I'm going to have to recheck this in a minute. Your nerfs and buffs came out because you changed items' stats. Yeah, let's just continue. Yeah, sweet. You very rarely see people buy that because, you know, no one really Hey, that's a rare one. They actually did something good to it for once. Meditation cloak has been increased. Hey, well, you know, about bloody time. Blink Ruin. Since when does support buy Blink Rune? Heavenly Wings. Hey, you actually increased it. That's nice. Decreased cost. Call it a faves. Yes. Okay, straight into it. Sylvanas gets a buff. Sylvanas is one of the strongest guardians. Because he's a heal god. His heal is very, very strong. And his overall abilities. He can give you heal. He can give you mana. He can give you shield. He has poison. He has a grab. And he's just a very good tanky warrior. In terms of getting kills, he can actually do it. He does seem very, very, very strong. Why is Sylvanas getting a buff? I can't understand this one. Xing Chen, I can kind of understand. Xing Chen is not massively picked because also his ability, they are very good. I've seen Xing Chen players in the solo lane, but in terms of Guardians, I can understand for him getting a buff because he doesn't give that. In the game type like a corrupted arena, he's the strongest thing in the entire world, but he has his moments. That I know for a fact sometimes when you're a god like Cerberus or Xing Chen, when you grab the enemy and throw them to your hunter, if your hunter friend is not paying attention or is not ready to attack, you can screw them over. At least with Ares pulls them in and it stuns them. Xing Chen just throws them at you and it's like, here, you deal with it. And the carry goes, oh crap, no please. And yeah, they die. So Xing Chen I can kind of understand getting a buff. Right, now we're getting to our hunters. Yippee. I wonder... What? I didn't know Kronos was a hunter. Damn. Fair play. Kronos gets a buff. This is... So this I haven't actually noticed this before. This is ranked conquest. This is just ranked conquest. Because in casual conquest, I'm playing with level 160s. I play with the highest level. You never see a Kronos in carry. Never see a Kronos as a carry god. Never. Maybe Sol. Maybe Freya. You never see a Kronos. Does he need a buff? Yes and no. In the role of mid lane, yes, he does need a buff. But as a role of carry, no, he doesn't. He's a god that works reasonably poorly in mid lane, but extremely strong in terms of carry. But you don't see him because he's pretty difficult to play. This doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. You never see people play Kronos in carry. At least I don't, and I'm main Guardian. Fine, it's probably a pro league strat just to play Kronos in support. I mean, in carry. Fine. Does it make sense? No, nothing at all. Kronos is one of the most overpowered abilities in the entire game. His stun is extremely overpowered. His accelerate is extremely overpowered. It makes no sense him getting a buff. I also saw that. Danziger gets a buff. You know Danziger, the god who's still broken, who has a tactical nuclear missile. Or, sorry, a predator missile for Modern Warfare. Oh, great. He gets to increase his gold pouch. Even better, which gives him more damage. Sweet. Base damage increase. Oh, great. You know Danziger, that extremely weak hunter that never gets picked or never gets played. I'm actually at the point of... This is just so stupid. Hi-Rez, you have no idea how to make a game work. This is embarrassing. What? He's not weak. He's not even weak. That's the problem. And even if he doesn't buy these items, it doesn't warrant him getting a buff. Hachiman, I can agree to a degree. He does need a buff. He's not as played as your common carry. On a one-on-one basis, Hachiman is extremely good to play, but I can agree with that because in other game types, Hachiman's not picked, he's not played. I can agree with this one. Hachiman does need a buff because his pick ratio is awful, and in many games he can get absolutely decimated. Ishtar gets a buff now. Wait, what? She gets immunity. She gets fucking immunity. Yeah, well, you know what? Fuck off. Are you fucking serious right now? Are you? Bastet gets a buff. Holy shit. What did they nerf? That! They buffed it! Underperform. You know nothing about your game. You know absolutely nothing about the game you are making. You're doing this just to piss people off. That's all you're doing. Well done. You managed to piss me off. Congratulations. You don't know a single thing about the game you're playing. And it is just stupid. Doesn't need a buff. To be honest, needs to be removed from the game. And whoever made her needs to be shot. Cleodana doesn't need a buff. Just fuck off, Cleodana. You stupid. But that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. Let's go back up to the top. Let's go back up to the top. Maybe he can make me laugh. No, because I'm angry now. Why did you buff the most broken gods for the classes and then not buff anyone else? You had probably one or two good ideas, but then you didn't touch anyone else. It doesn't make sense. Gods like Raging is still not picked because they're not that strong. He needs a buff. Kumbragana is extremely weak at the moment. He needs a buff. He needs more. There are gods who don't get played at all, yet you buff the gods who do get played. And then your underperformers, who you clearly don't know anything about, you give them a buff. Bastet and Cleodana are both broken, but give them a buff. You know what? This I sometimes really wish that time travel existed. I could go back in time and save them from themselves. This game was fantastic a couple of years ago. That's what's the most annoying part. This game was fantastic. And now they've ruined it. And it just gets worse and worse with every update. And then you push out everything. You're the biggest sellouts since fucking Fortnite. Well, not Fortnite, like everyone else. It's just look at it. Just look at it. Is this where you thought Smite was going to be in 2022? Coming up to the end of it? I'm fine with the jokes. I'm fine with the happiness. Nickelodeon, those skins were fun. They looked good. These don't. And then your nerfs and your buffs, they don't make sense. Nothing you're doing makes sense. It's just so frustrating with the amount of crap that's going on in the world in terms of video games, in terms of movies, in terms of TV series. They're all pushing out crap, shitty products. And it hurts so much when Smite fell down that fucking rabbit hole of just disappointment. And the great argument, you don't have to play it, you can go play something else. I'm bloody well aware of that, but there's nothing I can find that I can be bothered to get into. And on the very rare occasion you can have fun on Smite, it as weird as it may sound, you can have fun on Smite, but it's a very rare occasion. Because as soon as somebody finds the newest broken god, they'll play them. On another note, Maui at the moment, I'm surprised he didn't get a buff. Maui is extremely weak. In terms of he just doesn't seem very strong. But it's heartbreaking, to be honest. This is just ridiculous. The nerfs and buffs made absolutely no sense on this video. The skins were fine. Actually, I won't even say the skins were fine. I can't even look at that. That's awful. Absolutely awful. The egg one was fine for Thanatos because it was a joke inside Smite's own area. You've taken this from a different game. It's not even yours. And you're pushing it. That stupid face. Yes, it's comedic. Haha, funny. Who are you going to sign up with next? Roblox? Great. I can't wait for 2023 Smite. As soon as I find a different game, I'll stop making videos. And I'll play that other game. A lot of people have given up on Smite. The older players have given up on them. Some people still cling to it being good, but it's not just my opinion. I go into lobbies and I put the same message in saying, Hi-Rez are pretty dumb, aren't they? And the people agree. You say gods are broken, they agree. People are agreeing to this. It's just, and even on my videos, it's 50-50. 10 likes, 10 dislikes. People saying, yes, I agree with this. No, I don't agree with this. But it's the problem that Smite have at the moment, like a lot of other things do. You have fanboys who completely say yes to everything. I will argue with anyone, a pro player, a flipping great YouTuber. And if you were to say to me, Smite is as good as it was 2 years ago, I will argue with you until I am red in the face. Because that is the biggest lie ever, and I'd be prepared to call you the biggest liar. If I could find someone who would say that. Anyway, that about wraps up this disgrace of an update. Thanks for listening.